On a quiet colony far from Earth, a young human child named Lucas lived with his parents. The colony was a peaceful place, full of hope and dreams for the future. It was located on a distant planet, far from the troubles of Earth. Lucas loved to explore, running through the green fields and playing near the sparkling blue lakes. Life was simple for the humans who lived there, and they had no idea that their world was about to change forever. One day, while Lucas was playing near the edge of the forest, something strange happened. The peaceful atmosphere suddenly turned cold, and a dark ship appeared in the sky. It was unlike any ship the people of the colony had ever seen. The ship hovered silently above them, casting a shadow over the land. It was massive, with sharp edges and glowing lights. The people stared up in fear, unsure of what was happening. From the ship, strange-looking alien soldiers descended. Their skin was a dark, slick green, and their eyes glowed with an unnatural light. They wore heavy armor, and their movements were fast and precise. The people tried to hide, but it was too late. The aliens were already among them. They did not speak, and their purpose was unclear. All anyone could feel was terror. Lucas, curious as ever, had run closer to the strange ship, drawn by the lights. He didn't understand the danger. He didn't know that the aliens were there to bring harm. His parents, from a distance, saw him and called out to him, but it was too late. The aliens reached Lucas before anyone could stop them. Without warning, one of the soldiers raised a weapon and fired. The beam struck Lucas, and in an instant, the child fell to the ground, lifeless. His parents screamed in horror, rushing to his side, but the aliens simply turned and returned to their ship without a word. They left as quickly as they had come, disappearing into the sky, leaving only destruction in their wake. The entire colony was in shock. The sudden violence felt like a nightmare that they couldn't wake up from. How could this have happened? Why would they kill a child? The peaceful humans had done nothing to provoke the attack. But to the aliens, it didn't matter. They had taken the life of an innocent, and no one understood why. The Galactic Council, the group of powerful alien races that controlled much of the galaxy, was soon informed of the tragic event. However, their reaction was not what the humans expected. They were not upset or angry about the killing. Instead, they dismissed it as a minor incident. It was just a child, they said. Humans are weak. Their lives are insignificant. The council was made up of many alien species, each with its own view of the galaxy. To them, humanity was nothing more than a small primitive race. They believed that Earth and its people had no real power in the galaxy. The death of one child, to them, was no more important than the death of an insect. They cared little for the pain and loss of the humans on that distant colony. But what the council didn't know was that Earth was not as weak as they thought. The death of Lucas was not just the loss of a child. It was the spark that would set everything into motion. Earth's people, known for their resilience and strength, would not sit back and accept this injustice. The killing of one child awakened something deep within the planet, a power that had been hidden for centuries, waiting for the right moment to rise. Back on Earth, the leaders and citizens were in an uproar. They demanded justice for the child's death. The humans could not understand how anyone could treat life so carelessly, especially the life of a child. But no matter how loud their cries were, the Galactic Council ignored them. The message was clear. The Council had no intention of helping Earth or punishing the aliens responsible for the death. But the humans weren't going to give up. The people of Earth had always fought for what was right, even when the odds seemed impossible. And they would not let the death of an innocent child go unpunished. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, hidden for millennia, an ancient force lay dormant, waiting for the call to action. A fleet of powerful ships, once used by Earth's ancient ancestors to protect the planet from enemies, was about to be awakened. No one knew about this fleet, except for a few who had uncovered the ancient secrets. And now, with the death of Lucas, the time had come. Earth was about to unleash its hidden power. And the galaxy would soon learn that underestimating humanity was the biggest mistake the Galactic Council had ever made. The death of a single child had ignited something powerful, and this tragedy would be the beginning of a new chapter for Earth, a chapter where humanity would prove that they were no longer weak and insignificant. The death of Lucas had shaken Earth to its core. It was a tragedy that no one could ignore. The loss of an innocent child felt like a punch to the heart of humanity. As the people mourned, they also felt something deep within themselves begin to stir. Something ancient, something forgotten. Earth had always been a planet filled with secrets, and now one of those secrets was about to be uncovered. For centuries, Earth had been known for its small but strong spirit. Humans had survived wars, disasters, and countless challenges. But what most humans didn't know was that Earth's true power was hidden beneath the surface. The planet had a secret that no one knew about, a secret that had been kept for generations. A fleet of powerful warships, built by humanity's ancient ancestors, had been buried long ago, deep in the planet's forgotten corners. These ships were beyond anything the Galactic Council had ever seen. They were advanced, powerful, and ready for battle. As the people of Earth began to demand justice for Lucas, a small group of scientists and military leaders gathered in secret. They had been studying Earth's past, searching for any trace of the ancient technology that might be hidden away. They had heard rumors, whispers about powerful ships from Earth's distant history, but no one had ever been able to confirm the truth. But now, with the death of the child and the growing anger among Earth's people, they knew it was time to act. The group of scientists, along with a few trusted military commanders, began to search for the fleet. They dug into ancient records, old maps, and long-forgotten texts, piecing together clues from Earth's history. Slowly, the truth began to unfold. The fleet wasn't just a myth, it was real. The fleet had been hidden in secret locations, buried deep beneath the oceans, in the frozen wastelands, and in places where few dared to go. The ships had been built long ago, by the first humans who reached beyond the stars. These early explorers had known that the galaxy was dangerous, and they had built the fleet to protect Earth from any threat that might come its way. The fleet was not just a collection of ships. It was a powerful force, designed to strike fear into anyone who dared to threaten Earth. The ships were massive, with weapons capable of destroying entire planets. They had shields that could block the strongest of attacks and engines that could propel them faster than anything in the galaxy. The fleet had been hidden away, waiting for a time when it would be needed again. And now, that time had come. With the discovery of the fleet's location, the scientists and military leaders acted quickly. They gathered a small team to unlock the hidden defenses protecting the ships. It wasn't easy. The ships were buried under layers of rock, ice, and ancient technology that had long since stopped working. But the humans were determined. They worked tirelessly, using everything they had to uncover the ship's locations. After days of digging, scanning, and analyzing, they found the first ship. It was massive, a true marvel of engineering. The ship was covered in dust and debris, but the moment they touched its hull, something incredible happened. The ship came to life. Its lights flickered on, and its engines hummed softly. The ship was awake. It had been waiting for centuries, and now it was ready to fight. The team stared in awe. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. The ship had been dormant for so long, yet it still had power. It was like something out of a dream, a relic from Earth's distant past, now brought back to life. The ship's systems slowly powered up, and the team began to hear its voice. It was not a voice like any human voice, but a deep, resonating sound that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. It spoke in a language they didn't understand, but they could feel its message. "Ready," the ship said. "Command." The team was stunned. They had unlocked something far greater than they had expected. This was no ordinary ship. It was a war machine, built to protect Earth from the very dangers the Galactic Council had brought upon them. As more ships were uncovered, The team realized that they had only just begun to scratch the surface. The fleet was vast, with hundreds of ships buried across the planet. Some were smaller, designed for quick strikes, while others were massive dreadnoughts, capable of wiping out entire fleets in seconds. All of them were powerful, ready to defend Earth from any threat. The leaders of Earth were informed of the discovery, and soon, the world's governments began to take notice. The time for mourning was over. The time for revenge had come. Earth now had the power to defend itself, to stand up to the Galactic Council, and to make sure that the death of one innocent child would never be forgotten. The fleet was ready, and so was Earth. As the ancient fleet of Earth began to rise, the world watched in awe. The powerful warships, long hidden beneath the planet's surface, were now awake. They were ready. The dark clouds of doubt and fear that had surrounded Earth for so long were now gone. The planet was no longer the weak, insignificant place the Galactic Council had thought it to be. It was rising to power, and no one knew what to expect. The leaders of Earth gathered in secret, meeting in underground bunkers and hidden facilities. They understood the gravity of the situation. The Galactic Council had ignored them, dismissed the death of a child as if it meant nothing. But now, with the fleet awakening, Earth had the power to make them pay for their arrogance. The time had come for Earth to stand tall, not just as a small planet in the galaxy, but as a force to be reckoned with. While the leaders discussed their next move, the fleet began to take shape. Each ship was a giant, capable of destroying anything in its path. The smaller ships were quick, agile, and ready for fast strikes. The larger ships were like floating cities, with weapons powerful enough to obliterate entire fleets. The fleet was a living, breathing thing. It wasn't just a group of ships. It was a powerful force that could change the balance of the galaxy. As the ships powered up, their massive engines roared to life. The people of Earth could feel the ground tremble as the ships took off, one by one, from their hidden places. The sky was filled with the sound of engines and the rush of air as the fleet soared into the atmosphere. It was as if the Earth itself was awakening, and the entire planet was ready to fight back. At first, no one in the Galactic Council knew what was happening. The powerful alien races that made up the Council had long believed that Earth was nothing more than a weak, insignificant planet. They had never seen humanity as a true threat. But the moment the first ship left Earth's atmosphere, the Council started to pay attention. The news spread like wildfire. The small, isolated planet that had been ignored for so long was now sending a fleet into space, a fleet unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The ships of the fleet were not just advanced. They were alive with history. Every ship carried the memories of the humans who had built them, the warriors who had fought in wars long forgotten. The ships were not simply machines. They were symbols of humanity's strength, resilience, and will to survive. And now, that strength was on full display. Earth's leaders quickly made their decision. They would not wait any longer for justice. The Galactic Council had made a grave mistake, and now they would pay. The fleet would not be used for simple revenge. No, Earth would show the galaxy that it was a force to be respected, and they would not stop until their message was heard. As the fleet prepared to leave Earth's orbit, the people watched from below. The streets were filled with excited chatter, some fearful, others hopeful. The entire planet had been united by one common goal: to defend their home and prove their worth to the galaxy. Humans, once considered weak, were now united by their anger, their pride, and their desire to never again be overlooked. The first target was the Galactic Council's outposts. The Council's leaders had no idea what was coming. They thought Earth would back down, that the fleet was just a show of force with no real power behind it. But when the fleet arrived at the first Council outpost, the aliens were shocked. The ships moved faster than anything they had seen before. They fired their weapons, and the outpost was obliterated in seconds. There was no chance for the alien defenders to fight back. The power of Earth's fleet was undeniable. One by one, The Council's outposts fell. The aliens tried to fight back, sending fleets of their own to stop the humans, but it was clear they were no match. Earth's ships were too powerful, too advanced. They moved with precision and strength, wiping out enemy ships as if they were nothing. The Galactic Council, which had once laughed at humanity, was now beginning to realize their mistake. They had underestimated Earth, and now they were paying the price. But Earth's leaders knew that this was just the beginning. They had to send a message, not just to the Council, but to the entire galaxy. They would show everyone that humanity was no longer a weak, forgotten species. The time of Earth's rise had come. No one would dare treat humans as inferior again. As the fleet continued its journey through space, the humans of Earth cheered, their hearts filled with pride, knowing that they were part of something bigger than themselves. The death of one child had set everything in motion, and now Earth was unstoppable. The galaxy was about to learn the truth about humanity. They were not to be underestimated. The Galactic Council had underestimated Earth's power, and now they were paying the price. The once confident alien leaders had watched as Earth's ancient fleet swept through their outposts like a storm, destroying everything in its path. But the Council wasn't going to sit back and let this continue. They quickly gathered their strongest forces, preparing for the fight of their lives. They knew this was no longer a simple battle. It was a war. And Earth was no longer the weak, insignificant planet they once thought it was. The Galactic Council called upon their greatest warriors, their most powerful ships, and their most advanced weapons. They had never faced an enemy like Earth. As they prepared to launch their counterattack, fear began to spread among the alien ranks. The Council's commanders, who had once mocked humanity, now understood the gravity of their mistake. Earth was no longer the underdog. It was a force to be reckoned with, and they had to stop it before it was too late. Meanwhile, Earth's fleet continued its journey through space, moving with precision and speed. The ships were unstoppable, their weapons unmatched. Each ship had its own personality, its own unique power. The fleet was a living force, one that had been dormant for centuries, now awakened and ready to strike. The humans on Earth watched with bated breath, knowing that the time had come for their planet to prove its strength to the entire galaxy. As Earth's fleet reached the edge of the Galactic Council's territory, they knew the final battle was near. The enemy was closing in fast. The Council's ships were massive, their weapons deadly, but they were no match for the sheer power of Earth's fleet. The humans had the advantage of surprise, the advantage of speed, and most importantly, the advantage of their history. The ships they commanded were not just machines. They were the legacy of humanity's greatest warriors, built to protect Earth from any threat. The two fleets met in the vastness of space, and the deadly showdown began. The first shots were fired with a deafening roar. The Council's ships unleashed a barrage of laser fire, hoping to overwhelm Earth's fleet. But Earth's ships were faster. They darted and weaved through the enemy fire, their advanced shields absorbing the blasts with ease. In response, Earth's ships fired their own weapons, massive energy beams that cut through the enemy ships like knives through butter. Alien vessels exploded in bright flashes of light, their crews lost in an instant. The battle was fierce, and the stakes were higher than ever before. The Council's commanders tried to regroup, sending in reinforcements, but it was clear they were no match for Earth's power. Earth's fleet moved as one, working together with precision and skill. The smaller ships darted in and out of the larger battleships, taking out key targets before retreating to safety. The larger ships fired their powerful weapons, decimating anything in their path. The Council's forces were quickly falling apart, unable to keep up with the relentless assault. As the battle raged on, the Council's flagship, a massive vessel designed to lead the fleet, moved into position. It was a formidable ship, covered in thick armor and bristling with weapons. Its commanders believed that if they could destroy Earth's flagship, they would break the will of the humans and win the war. But they underestimated the determination of Earth's people. The flagship of Earth's fleet was not just a ship. It was a symbol of everything humanity stood for. It was the heart of the fleet, a vessel powered by the same strength and resilience that had kept Earth alive through countless hardships. The ship's commander, Captain Sarah Mitchell, was a woman who had lost everything to the Galactic Council's cruelty. She was determined to make them pay for what they had done. Captain Mitchell ordered her flagship to move into the heart of the battle, charging directly at the Council's flagship. The two massive ships collided in a thunderous crash, sending shockwaves through space. The weapons from both ships clashed, lighting up the dark void of space with blinding flashes. Captain Mitchell's ship shook violently under the force of the enemy's attacks, but she held firm. Earth's flagship was built to withstand anything, and it wasn't going down without a fight. Inside the flagship, the crew worked quickly, manning their stations with unshakable determination. The ship's weapons fired with deadly accuracy, hitting the Council's flagship with powerful blasts that tore through its hull. The alien ship groaned as its systems began to fail. The crew of Earth's flagship pushed forward, not giving an inch. In a final, desperate move, the Council's flagship fired its ultimate weapon, a massive energy cannon that could destroy an entire fleet with a single shot. The beam of energy shot out toward Earth's flagship, but Captain Mitchell was ready. She activated the ship's advanced shield, and for a moment, the two forces were locked in a deadly struggle. The energy beam clashed against the shield, causing a massive explosion of light. For a moment, everything was silent. Then, as the smoke cleared, the Council's flagship was no more. The alien ship had been completely destroyed, shattered into pieces by the power of Earth's shields and weapons. The battle was over. The final battle was over, and the Galactic Council had been dealt a blow it would never recover from. Their mighty flagship, once a symbol of their power and control, was reduced to nothing more than debris floating in space. Earth's fleet had proven its strength, and in that moment, the Council's arrogance turned to fear. The unstoppable force of Earth had shattered their illusion of superiority. The Council had made a terrible mistake. They had dismissed Earth as weak, a planet unworthy of their attention. But now, with their fleet in ruins and their power slipping away, they realized how wrong they had been. The people of Earth, united by anger and the memory of a lost child, had fought back with everything they had. They were not a forgotten world. They were a force to be reckoned with, and they had just shown the galaxy their true power. As the last of the Council's ships fell, Earth's fleet didn't stop. The victory was clear, but the war wasn't over yet. The Council still had strongholds across the galaxy, and many of the galaxy's most powerful races were aligned with the Council. Earth had to send a message, not just to the Council, but to every alien race that had ever looked down on humanity. This was the beginning of a new era, and Earth was going to make sure everyone knew it. The commanders of Earth's fleet gathered in a secure, hidden command center on the flagship. Captain Sarah Mitchell, the woman who had led Earth's forces to victory, stood at the center of the room. Her face was calm, but there was a fire in her eyes. She knew this was just the beginning. The Galactic Council had fallen, but the galaxy was a vast place. There were many enemies still out there, and they would not give up easily. Earth needed to be ready. Message to all remaining Council forces, Captain Mitchell ordered. We don't stop here. Earth demands justice for every life lost, every child destroyed. We will not rest until the last of the Council's grip on the galaxy is broken. Her words rang out, clear and powerful, across the fleet. The crew of Earth's flagship and the rest of the fleet shared a look of resolve. They had fought for this moment, and now they were going to finish what they had started. The leaders of the galaxy, once so certain of their power, now watched in fear as Earth's ships moved toward their remaining strongholds. There was no time to react. The Earth fleet was swift, coordinated, and relentless. The first few strongholds fell quickly, destroyed by the overwhelming firepower of Earth's ships. They no longer needed to be cautious. Earth had already proved its might. And now it was time to make the rest of the galaxy see that humanity would no longer be underestimated. The galaxy was never the same after Earth's victory over the Galactic Council. The once untouchable empire had crumbled, and now Earth stood at the center of a new order. The people of Earth, who had once been underestimated and forgotten, were now feared and respected across the galaxy. The defeat of the Council was only the beginning of what Earth would become. Earth's fleet, still strong and battle-ready, moved with unstoppable power. No alien race, no matter how advanced, dared challenge them. The ships, fueled by a desire for justice and a deep love for their planet, continued to expand their reach. They didn't seek revenge. They sought to ensure that no one could ever threaten Earth again. As Earth's fleet moved through the galaxy, they were met with both fear and admiration. Some alien races, who had once been allies of the Galactic Council, tried to form alliances with Earth. They knew they couldn't fight against the power of the Earth fleet, and they hoped that by joining forces, they could survive in this new galaxy. But Earth's leaders were careful. They didn't trust easily. The memory of the Council's betrayal was fresh, and they knew that alliances with the wrong races could be dangerous. Captain Sarah Mitchell, who had led the fleet to victory, was now a symbol of Earth's strength. Her name spread through the galaxy, whispered in awe and fear. She stood firm, knowing that the battle was not over. Earth's power had been unleashed, but it had to be wielded carefully. It wasn't just about winning battles. It was about ensuring that Earth could protect itself and its people for generations to come. Back on Earth, the atmosphere was electric. The planet had never felt so alive. The streets were filled with celebrations, but there was a sense of quiet determination behind the joy. The people knew that they couldn't relax just yet. The galaxy was vast, and many races were still out there, watching, waiting. Earth's leaders continued to work, building a future where their power could be protected and strengthened. But not everyone was ready to accept Earth's newfound dominance. A group of powerful alien races, led by the Kravik Empire, began to form a coalition. They feared that Earth's power would upset the balance of the galaxy. The Kravik Empire had long ruled their part of the galaxy, and they didn't want to see a new power rise that could challenge them. The Kravik Empire's fleet, massive and fierce, moved to the edge of Earth's space. They were determined to put an end to Earth's rise before it became a true threat. They had no idea what they were about to face. As Earth's fleet received reports of the Kravik Empire's movements, a calm tension filled the air. Captain Mitchell knew this was the moment she had been preparing for. She had trained her fleet for this. The Kravik Empire was no different from the Galactic Council. They were just another enemy to face and defeat. But she was also aware that this would not be an easy fight. The Kravik Empire was powerful, and they would not back down easily. The news spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Alien races, who had once treated humanity with scorn, now watched in disbelief as Earth's fleet tore through the remnants of the Galactic Council. Planets that had once been under the Council's rule began to stir, and whispers of rebellion began to spread. Earth's victory had sparked something deep within the galaxy, a realization that the balance of power had shifted. Humanity was no longer a pawn in the grand game. It was a player, and a powerful one at that. Back on Earth, the mood was a mixture of triumph and caution. The planet had united as never before. The people had come together in the face of the Council's cruelty, and now they were standing on the edge of something greater. But they knew the battle wasn't truly over. The galaxy was a dangerous place, and many more challenges lay ahead. Yet, for the first time in history, Earth stood tall, knowing that it had the power to defend itself. The leaders of Earth's nations met to discuss the future. The war with the Galactic Council had been brutal, but the Earth fleet was still strong, and there were many new allies in the galaxy. The time had come to rebuild, to prepare for whatever might come next. And Earth, having learned the harsh lessons of the past, would never again be caught off guard. They were no longer a weak planet to be ignored. They were a superpower in the making. The leaders knew they had to protect their people and ensure that Earth's newfound strength wasn't used for revenge alone. This wasn't about destroying enemies for the sake of power. This was about making sure Earth's future was secure. The destruction of the Galactic Council was just the beginning. Now, Earth would focus on creating a new galaxy, one where no one could threaten their people again. Across the galaxy, alien races watched in stunned silence as Earth continued its advance. Some were fearful, others curious, but all were forced to respect what humanity had done. The Galactic Council had fallen, and Earth had risen. The time of humans had come. And now, the galaxy would know that Earth would never again be treated as weak or forgotten. The two fleets finally met in space, the vastness of the galaxy stretching between them. The Kravik ships, with their dark, jagged edges, looked like a swarm of predators. But Earth's ships were different. They were sleek, powerful, and unyielding, each one designed with the best technology Earth had to offer. The moment they engaged, it was clear that this would be a battle for the ages. The Kravik Empire launched their first attack, sending wave after wave of energy blasts toward Earth's fleet. The Earth ships responded with stunning precision, dodging and returning fire with devastating force. The battle was fierce, the explosions lighting up the blackness of space. The Kravik ships, powerful as they were, began to fall, one by one, under the relentless assault of Earth's fleet. Captain Mitchell stood at the helm of the flagship, her eyes focused, her hands steady. She ordered her fleet to advance, knowing that the moment of victory was within their grasp. The Kravik fleet was powerful, but Earth had something the Kraviks didn't: unity. The humans of Earth fought not just for survival but for each other, for their home. The Kraviks fought for power, and that would not be enough. One by one, the Kravik ships began to break apart, their shields failing under the intensity of Earth's weapons. The Kravik fleet was losing ground. The war had shifted in favor of Earth, and it became clear that the galaxy would soon know that Earth was not just a planet, it was a dominant force. With the last of the Kravik ships destroyed, Earth's fleet stood victorious once again. The galaxy had witnessed the full power of Earth, and it would never be the same. No one could challenge Earth's strength anymore. The galaxy had been forced to recognize that humanity had a place among the stars, a place of power, of respect, and of protection. The Kravik Empire had fallen, just like the Galactic Council before it. Earth's power had been unleashed, and there was no turning back. The galaxy would now know Earth's name, not just as a planet, but as a symbol of strength and survival, of unity and purpose. The galaxy had changed. Earth, once a forgotten corner of the universe, was now a force that commanded respect. The Galactic Council was no more, the Kravik Empire had fallen, and Earth's fleet had proven its unmatched power. But now, as the dust of battle settled, Captain Sarah Mitchell knew that a new chapter was beginning, a chapter that would define not just Earth, but the future of the galaxy. The war was over. The victories were hard-earned, but they came with a price. Earth had lost many good people along the way. The scars of battle were still fresh, and the path forward was uncertain. Yet, for the first time in history, Earth stood at the top, not as a victim, but as a leader. As Earth's fleet continued to patrol the galaxy, keeping the peace they had fought so hard to establish, Earth's leaders gathered to discuss what came next. The people had seen the power of their military, but now they needed to turn their focus to something more important: rebuilding. The galaxy, for all its beauty, was also filled with broken systems and oppressed worlds. Earth had the power to help, to heal, and to lead. But with that power came responsibility. The United Nations, now the governing body of Earth, called for a new council, one that would represent not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. The time for conflict was over. Earth's leaders knew they had to offer something different, a new way for the galaxy to move forward together. They wanted peace, but not at the cost of Earth's strength. They would never allow their home to be vulnerable again. The galaxy had learned that lesson the hard way. The first meeting of the new Galactic Council took place in Earth's capital. Representatives from every corner of the galaxy, alien races, former enemies, and neutral worlds, gathered in one grand hall. It was a momentous occasion. Earth, once the underdog, was now the host. The message was clear. Earth would not be a passive player anymore. It would lead, and it would protect. Captain Mitchell stood at the front of the council hall, watching as the representatives filed in. She knew this moment was important, not just for Earth, but for the future of every species in the galaxy. The galaxy had been torn apart by war, but it didn't have to stay that way. The power that Earth had unleashed could now be used for something better. "Welcome," Captain Mitchell said, her voice steady and commanding. "We've fought for peace, and now we are here to build it." The representatives took their seats. There were still those who didn't fully trust Earth. Many of the alien races that had once allied with the Council were wary of humanity's rise. But there were also many who were ready to work together to build a new future. The Council meeting began, and Earth's leaders took their place, offering solutions, guidance, and a vision for the galaxy. This wasn't about domination. It was about unity. Earth wanted to help rebuild the broken systems, create a galaxy where peace could last. The discussions were intense. Some races were hesitant to accept Earth's leadership. They feared Earth's strength and the potential for future conflict. But others, including those who had once been victims of the Galactic Council's cruelty, spoke up in favor of Earth. They had seen firsthand the kind of power Earth wielded. And it wasn't the kind that sought to conquer. It was the kind that sought to protect. After hours of debate, the new Galactic Council was formed. Earth had earned its place at the table, but it was clear that the road ahead would not be easy. Trust had to be built, alliances had to be formed, and old wounds had to heal. But Earth was ready for the challenge. They had faced destruction, betrayal, and war, and they had emerged stronger for it. Now, it was time to turn that strength into something positive. Back on Earth, the people celebrated. There was joy in the streets, but there was also a sense of quiet pride. Earth had fought for its place in the galaxy, and now it had a seat at the table. But they knew this wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something much greater. The galaxy had been shaken, and now it was time for Earth to rebuild, both its relationships with other races and the world it called home. Captain Mitchell stood on the balcony of Earth's capital, looking out at the stars. She thought of the battles they had fought, the lives lost, and the sacrifices made. But she also thought of the future, of the new era they were about to create. Earth had faced its darkest moments and come out victorious. Now it was time to build a galaxy that was united, where peace and strength could go hand in hand. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Earth was no longer just a small, forgotten planet. It was a beacon of hope, strength, and unity in a galaxy that had once been divided by war. And this was only the beginning.